We have another interesting lesson, but before we start, we are going to have a prayer. Right? Let's pray. Dear Father, thank you for bringing us here to church. It means a lot. It means that we've made it, that we are healthy, and then we want to be here. Please bless us and give us the wisdom so that we can review these lessons the best way that we can, and give us the strength to use these in our everyday life. In the name of Jesus, we ask you. Amen. All right. We continue with the book of Job in a way that the lesson presents it very well, but it takes a little bit of effort in our part to think about what they're saying and to understand it and to reach the conclusion that they try to guide us to. This thing of suffering, we've been talking about it, right? Suffering, it is bad. We've been saying things like we have the right to complain and to ask questions. Why is this happening to me? And to express, like these words or pseudo words that express pain, like ouch, that hurts, and complaints. And we have the right to do that because pain and suffering is real, right? And we get to the book of Job, and we see a man that is going through extreme suffering. Now, the book of Job is not about suffering, it's about what? Trying to come up to a logical understanding of why is it happening. Mm-hmm. Right? And then the conclusion, which I'm going to give you right now before we go through, the conclusion is that we don't have answers for it. Right? We try to why, we're never going to find an answer. We have reasons or why it's happening in such a way, but not the real reason that sometimes we look for it. Right? Like, for example, a math problem. 2 times 2 is what? 4. We got the answer. We are not going to find clear answers on why of this suffering. We're just going to have ideas of why it's happening. Right? Because when we think about that, when we say why, who are we dealing with? Who are we kind of blaming for our suffering when we say, why is this happening to me? Who? Who do we blame? With, not directly, but indirectly, who do we blame? We blame God. Right? When we do something and somebody else comes along and says, why are you doing that? They are telling us, you fool, or you didn't do what you're supposed to, right? Just by saying why. So, now let's see here. The book is like a play. You got Job first thinking, what? He first examined his mind, thinking, what I have done wrong to deserve such a fate. Right? Then he comes, who? The 3 friends, and tell him, wait a minute. Things are, at the time of Job, things, at least in the book, they were thinking about 1 and 1 is 2, and 3 and 3 is 6, very clear, black and white. Right? You do something wrong, you get a bad reward. You do something right, you get a good reward. Very easy. Right? Just like me last night. Why did I get such a big headache that I was having a really bad time? Why? Right? We don't have a clear answer. I was trying to examine why did I eat, what did I do, and I just couldn't find anything. Same thing here. Now, have you ever played tic-tac-toe? Mm-hmm. If you play it right, who wins? You. Nobody, right? Because it's a stalemate all the time. If you defend yourself, it's always going to be nobody's going to win unless the opponent is dreaming or get distracted, right? But it's always a stalemate. Nobody wins. Same thing here. Looking for the answer, we're not going to find it. Why is this happening? That's the conclusion we have to be. We have to accept it. Now, there's more to it, right? Just because we cannot explain, okay, where it is, well, we're going to have to go through our faith. No. There's hope. There is hope, right? Let's see. Maybe Dwayne, maybe I should go get my glasses.
Okay.
They're somewhere there on the driver's seat.
Okay. I would have thought mine, I couldn't function.
It's parked on the main parking lot facing the house. The main parking lot facing the house. My pickup, great pickup. And anyway, even the sunglasses have a bifocal, so I should tell him that. But I look kind of weird with my sunglasses here, but it's okay. Anyway, this is what the memory text says. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Meaning that we are not going to reach the understanding that God has. So we have to be satisfied with what little that we know. Because we're not going to reach that understanding same as God. In understanding suffering, evil, sin, and so on and so forth, we're not going to find the answer.
We have to just accept.
Which has to just accept it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to give you another conclusion. We have to accept it, but then there is hope. Because sin, suffering, evil wasn't supposed to be. God is going to get rid of it eventually, right, on the second coming. So there's our hope. It happened, evil is there, but God is going to get rid of it. All right? That's what we need to know and be satisfied with. Not why? Now we have the right, because it's real, to exclaim, ouch, it hurts, and things like that, right? But remember, there is hope. And first hope, Job was thinking about it. What I have done wrong, right, to deserve this suffering? And he couldn't find the answers. And then what happened? The friends come along and says, well, we know this. God is fair. Is that a true statement? God is fair. Is that a true statement? It is. God is fair. If we do something wrong, we are going to get it. And if we do something right, He's going to give us a nice reward. It is true. Right? But the love of God, love of God is so much greater than that we miss the point. Because how many wrong things we have done in our lives? Well, we don't have to hide. We already know. Many. All of us. Each one of us. Right? Are we still alive? Yes, we are. Why? It's because God is love. And before we were sin, He made preposition. He prepared a solution for all of us. And that's the point that it was missing here in the book of John. Now, the other point that we're missing was the cosmic conflict between God and Satan. Right? Every time that something happens, we talk, no, God, why did you do this to me? And who is really causing us harm? Is it God? It's Satan. Now let's make a promise to ourselves right now. Hopefully we can keep it. From now on, when something goes wrong, we shouldn't be blaming God. We should be blaming who really is the blame, which is Satan. Right? Now, speaking of that, the war started a long time ago and it's still going on. Satan is blurring God's image, talking bad things about Him to convince others. And he has done a good job. Third of the angels and a lot of people believe Him. Speaking right now, I have even friends, good friends, that don't want to have anything to do with religion, they say, because they have a very bad image about God. Right? Something happens, we blame God. He found it. Very good. You did find it.
Carry on, brother.
Let me see which ones did you find. I don't know if this will do exactly what they help a little bit. I have many pairs. All right. Thank you, Dwayne. So we have here now, we're talking about this. It is also important because we deal with it personally and we deal with it with other people. See, because here we can just talk about, exactly what the lesson is saying, step by step. But the main points are those. They didn't understand God. That God is fair. And if you do something wrong, you're going to deserve it. If you're going through something because you did something wrong. Is that how it works? Even in our own life, like I just said. How many times we have done wrong? And we can say many times. Have we gotten what we deserve for it? I'm telling you right now, it's a few times, but we don't. What is the payment for sin?
Yeah.
Death. Do you know, and you do very well, that in ancient times, when you broke the Sabbath, you were what? Stoned to death. And there's just one example, right? But we don't, because God has a plan for us. There's hope, right? And that's what these guys were missing. And they didn't know that God was cleaning up his image. When he was talking to Satan, okay, there is Job right there. He is faithful, is loyal to me. And then Satan said, well, yeah, he is because you bless him a lot. I said, okay, remove all of my blessings. But don't kill him and see, and we'll see. And Satan was not only stripped him of his possessions, killed his children, and gave him a lot of pain and suffering through diseases. He added to it. He was constantly trying to convince him. Through friends, through the wife, curse God and die. They were telling him, right? So the devil was doing everything that he could to convince Job to say, yeah, God is unfair. Right? But the other guys were trying to think, why are they scratching their heads? Saying, wait, we know this logic right here, right? But they were missing the point. Why? Because when somebody is in pain, what do you tell somebody that is in pain? And the answer is very simple. And pray, but pray is a very good answer. But another answer that is very good is we do what? Like the friends, what they did when they first met Job, they sat right beside him without saying a word, in support. Right? The trouble started when they started talking.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can say something good, right? I'm not saying that we should stay quiet all the time, but usually we try to support them. At times of great suffering, sometimes it doesn't matter what you say. It's just be there, right? Stand by, close by, like when we follow in our little children. They don't even understand what we say, but we're close to them. Follow them so they don't fall. If they fall, we pick them up. Support them, right? Well, they were thinking, well, they were victims of their own intelligence. They thought they were smart. And that happens to us a lot. Right? Especially us here in the church. We've been here in the church, we learn, we study the Bible, we've been here a lot of times. So when we see somebody else, I got an answer for you. Well, my stomach is, you know what? I got, you should do this, you should do that, and so on and so forth. At the moment, when you're suffering, you don't want to hear anything like that, right? You're just going to be left alone. And sometimes we make that mistake, right? So we should just learn from this lesson we could try to comfort somebody else. And also, let us not forget about the war between God and Satan. Right? Why is this happening? We know why. And it's not God, it's the devil that is trying to do whatever he can to destroy us, right? Anyway, let's see what else. Let's see. There was those three guys, and those three friends. And then comes another one. They was standing on the sidelines, so to speak. Right? He was listening. What's his name? Elihu. He was listening to these three friends, right? They were trying to tell Job, hey, you confess. Because the logic is that if you do something wrong, you're suffering. You're suffering, you must have done something wrong. Confess, and maybe you'll be spared of your troubles. That's the logic. They couldn't convince Job, because Job already did that. He examined his life, saying, I didn't do anything wrong. Something is going on. But remember I said, he had what? Trust. He trusted God. So he know, this is going on, but I know that God is fair, and at the end, it may be not right now, but he will, save me from this going on, right? So this other young guy, he was listening. The Bible in the lesson says that he thought he had a better way of convincing Job to confess, right? So we hear all this commotion that is going on, all this talk back and forth, and I said, you know what? This is my turn. And he went and said the same thing. Why? Why they didn't have an answer for it? They thought they had, but why they didn't have the answer for Job's suffering? Two things. There is no logical answer to sin, evil, why it came to existence, and the other one is the war between God and Satan. They didn't have that perspective, but we do. So we are privileged to know what happened to Job and what is going on and so on and so forth, to come to the conclusion that we shouldn't be complaining, we shouldn't be judgmental to others and so on and so forth, because we see a bigger picture than they did, right? We can blame those guys. Oh, how cruel were they, right? But how even worse would be if we do the same thing knowing all that. Like I said, you probably do have also friends that have, they're not doing something right, but what should be our position? What should we tell them? Should we go with like Elihu and this other way, this is happening to you? They're just going to close the door for us, right? Let's see what else. That we're trying to defend God, right? Does he need our help to defend himself, God? He wants us to participate, but sometimes we think that he needs help. Like if he's another one of us, right? And we don't have a clear idea of how to do that. How can we defend God? Let's think about that. We cannot defend it like Elihu and the other three guys, but there's a way that we can do that. How can we best defend God and clear his image? We all know, do we?
By being a professional witness.
Mm-hmm.
By being a professional witness. That's how we defend it.
Defend it, no?
Mm-hmm.
And let's elaborate a little bit more. So we have to witness. And what's the best way to communicate to others? Talking? Are you sure? Let me give you another. A better way to communicate with others. Let me help you. With our actions. Right? With our actions. We can talk alone, right? But the way we live our lives is the best way. And then once so that others can see God in us, right? Or his power of transforming us. That's the way you can defend God. Now, when also the way our behavior. For example, if we go through suffering like Job, what should we do? Don't lose our hope when we go through suffering. That's how we can represent God there. Not easy, right? Because it's very easy when we're doing fine. But when we're going through problems, we got to keep our posture. We got to keep, defending God. We got to keep loving God and so on and so forth. That's how we can represent it better, like Job. What else? When we see or when we encounter, I'm just giving you practical examples, and when we encounter a brother or a non-brother with problems, are we going to condemn them or we are going to help him or her? You see the differences? Because we see evil people all the way around us. What are we going to do? We have to be intelligent and be careful, keep our distance. But we need to do something about it.
We have to know when to keep our mouth shut and when to say something.
When to say something, when to give, when to not to give, and so on and so forth, right? But all thinking about the benefit of us and others, or our mutual salvation. It's just doing.
Norma was decorating the multi-purpose room in there many days in the last week or so.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in there one day, and somebody was pounding on the outside door, and it was night. I usually don't open the door like that when it's night, because you don't know what's going to come in at you. I opened the door, and there's a young woman is there, and she was asking for flashlight batteries, C size. I said, I don't know of any. Then she asked to use the restroom, so I let her use the restroom. And then I found some food for her. There wasn't much food available in here, but we found some food for her and something to drink. And around the corner, I heard a noise while she was there. And I asked her, do you have a dog? She said, no, my daughter's with me. So she had a young daughter who was around the corner. These are two homeless women around the corner. What to do to help them? That's how could I help them? We gave her the food, gave her the drink, didn't have the batteries. I was sorry when I went home that I didn't give her some money to go buy some batteries, because it probably was a flashlight. Because she said some strange characters following us wherever we go. I said, she was alarmed. What to do? What to do when you see someone has a need? They have a need. You can't take them into your house because many of these people have they've got behavioral problems. Studies have shown a lot of them have mental health problems, discouragement, failures, and sometimes. We had one that came to this church for a long time. We missed him for a while then. When he came back, he was a very learned man with many degrees. He'd been a teacher, but he got out of jail after 30 days. He was sleeping in somebody's house. Sneaked in when they were gone for. How do we make this practical to represent what Christian care is for somebody? It's difficult. How to distinguish when it's going to be harmful on the long run, but be helpful immediately. How to figure it out?
It is very difficult, and I don't think we can figure it out, because each person's got a mind of their own, and sometimes even when we get so close to provide some type of help, sometimes they turn against us. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult, but that should be our goal. That's why sometimes I have mentioned that our goal is not to provide temporary aid, right? Our ultimate goal should be our salvation. Because, like Dwayne explained, it's very difficult. Sometimes we help a little bit temporarily, they're gone. They don't like it, or they don't receive it, or they have problems, so on and so forth. But salvation is more important. And some people in the community have the wrong impression of the church too, right? They think it's a charitable institution there to assist people in an everyday need. And that's not our primary purpose. Our primary purpose is to witness, right? For God and their salvation. On the way, in the meantime, sometimes we provide help because we have to, but we have to revert and clear that image. What's more important? Prioritize what we need to do. We have been here. Somebody came here and asking for money. That something happened. He had a nice story, but I remember right now, and I should say at the very first moment, let me show you the door. I remember that person right there, because obviously he was lying in many ways. Anyway, so we have to be very careful. Salvation is more important, and clearing the image of God is more important than anything else. Otherwise, we're going to come up with this, trying to scratch our head, why is this happening, right? And none of those three guys understood, not even Job. But Job had something that the other guys didn't have. He had trust in God. And he said, you know what? I don't understand this. So there's another way. Even though sometimes we don't understand what is going on, we should still keep our hope.
Yeah, because if you give up, then you're siding in with Satan.
Yes. Because that's exactly what the weapon that he uses the most, discourages. Why? No, and he changes it. Not because he doesn't like you, because he really is not the God that you think he is, and so on and so forth. Right? We should always keep our trust in God. And he has shown in our lives, we can witness, the nice thing that he has done when we were ready to give up, and God has intervened in our lives, right? Rescued us. That's when our faith is challenged on times of trouble. On times of trouble, we close to give up sometimes, But that's when our faith is tested. That's when we are going to be, come out triumphant and be closer to God through the problems. I heard somebody, you always love your children, our children, we always love them. But we don't love them that much when they were born. We love them more as they grow up because we live our life together through all that, right? All the taking care of. When you behave, when you gotta be patient, and so on and so forth, right? Yeah. So, through times of troubles when we increase our faith. Hope, pain, suffering, sin, evil is there. We don't know why it came about. There's no explanation, but it's there. Now, facing it with the help of God is what makes our faith to grow. But let us not give up and blame God for it. It's a mystery. You read the lesson, right? And a couple of explanations they give. Why? It wasn't supposed to be. It's irrational. If we find a logical explanation for sin and evil and suffering, we would give them a reason to exist, and it wasn't supposed to be. It's very difficult to understand, right? That is why the devil uses that a lot to make us fall. And we should, and just because we learn this, we should continue to teach our children, right? If you do something wrong, you're gonna get something wrong. If you get something right, you're gonna get your reward, right? We should continue teaching them. But in our relationship with our conflict between God and Satan, we know that sometimes we're going to suffer, and it wasn't our fault. But we should remember that God is faithful to give us a solution. Maybe not in this world, but when he comes back again.
Amen.
Right? So, very difficult lesson to understand, but if we do, we're going to spare a lot of trouble. We have to, the conclusions is always the same. Have faith in God. Even though you're going through suffering. Be patient, right? He has a solution to all of our problems. He really does. Maybe not right now, but later on. Let us not lose our hope. He will come and rescue us.
Amen.